Okay guys, this is just a quick video about my current thoughts on cold approaching. So, I made a few videos in the past about my current thoughts on cold approaching, and my general thought of it has been, it's fun to do, but it's not really getting me the results I want. So, maybe I'd ask a girl for a number, but then very rarely do you hear back from them. Or like you hear back from them, but you don't necessarily go on a date. Maybe not, maybe she's not really the one anyway. Blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. So I've sort of put it on the back burner a bit, but I've got back on it as a practice, and I want to just document my current thoughts on it because I think I'm really onto something here, and it's quite complex, quite nuanced what I'm trying to say. So buckle up because it might be quite a long video. You might need to rewatch it. But it's going to be really important. So, if you don't know what cold approaching is, it's basically if you see a girl on like you're attracted to, on a night out or something, you never met her before, but you just see her across the bar or whatever. Cold approaching would be you just going over and saying hi, introducing yourself, ask her for your number. What normal people just call asking them for their number, but if you're on this side of the internet, you're clearly not normal. No, I'm joking. But basically, I'm just going to talk about. So that's cold approaching. I'm basically just going to talk about my current thoughts with what you get out of cold approaching. Why do you do it? And then I'm going to do a quick sort of thing about how to get started on it. So I'm still quite early on it. I'm probably much better at it than the average person, but I can tell the real benefits are really yet to come from it. So I'm going to make one thing very clear. So why do we get into cold approaching? Why do we do it? There's one thing I want to make really clear about this, and that is that you do not cold approach in order to actually get women. That might sound stupid because isn't that the whole thing you're doing? You're asking a girl for a number so you can meet up and have sex, get in a relationship, whatever it is you want. Yes, that is what I'm saying. But one thing I've really learned over the past 6 months about self-improvement and about relationships is you get what you deserve, basically. You don't really need to put too much effort into going out and getting the things that you want in life. It's much better to put those things into deserving it. And this is true of women as well. So if you want to get a girlfriend or a wife or just someone to sleep with who you really want, you have to deserve them, basically. There's no point going out and chasing it. So that means doing all the things that make you more attractive as a guy. And now I'm learning a lot about what these are. They're different for different people. But there's a general things of like, have a job that you're very productive in. Money is one of the metrics, but just generally you have something exciting going on in your life. Maybe that's a job, maybe it's, I don't know, a YouTube channel like this. You got to have something that makes you sort of exciting to be around. You're working, that's important. Go to the gym. You have to be in good shape. Is like, especially for if you're pursuing more sort of sexual stuff. I think being in shape is really important. But also it gives you the right kind of brain that women are attracted to, that kind of discipline of lifting heavy weights. Then there's dressing well, get some aftershave, simple stuff like that. I've done some videos about this in the past, so I'll link them in the description. Check that kind of stuff out. That's the kind of stuff that's actually going to get you the girls that you want. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. that's really going to do the heavy lifting for you. The problem is that if you dedicate yourself completely, if you just lock yourself in your room and, really work hard on a business, really exercise really hard, get a fantastic body, wear great clothes, all that kind of stuff, I still think there's something missing. Because I think the truth is, a lot of guys are quite scared about talking to women. And that's not very attractive to women in itself. So one of the things you have to do to be the kind of guy that your future girlfriend or wife is going to be attracted to is you have to be comfortable around women. You have to be comfortable flirting with them, talking to them, and making your attention known sounds a bit sleazy, but you know what I mean? Like, being outgoing enough to say, that you like them, you'd like to take them out on a date sometime. That's one of the metrics that's going to make you attractive. And the way you exercise that is by cold approaching. So, that's how to think about cold approaching. That's what it's going to do to you. It's going to make you more attractive to girls. But it's not necessarily going to be that the girls you're talking to when you're cold approaching, you're going to meet and take out on a date and stuff. Now, if you go up to a girl that you find attractive and get their number and take them out on a date, great, go for it. Like, that's really good. So don't sort of ruin a good thing. But I think don't worry too much about the actual sort of results of the cold approach. Just commit to the process. So that's the first thing to get straight. I hope I made that clear because it's quite a difficult point to make. So basically, you're doing cold approaching to get yourself more confident in front of girls. Now, that doesn't mean that when you go out and cold approaching, this is why it's slightly contradictory. You still need to go up to the girls that you are attracted to. Because the problem is there's a kind of fear there of doing that. That's the whole point that you need to get rid of. So you still need to go for girls that you're attracted to, basically, I think. So you get the proper experience and you learn from it. So I hope that makes sense. A bit of confusing concepts. Never really seen anyone quite articulate it like that before. So I hope that makes sense. Now, I'll move on to the second thing, which is just how to go about starting cold approaching. So you understand the benefits of it, but you're very nervous about it. And that's completely fine because it is really nerve-wracking to do. The sun's going down a bit, so I hope you can still see me. The first thing to realise is that provided you don't do some obvious stupid shit, it's completely acceptable for you to go up and ask a girl for a number. There are a few ground rules I would say that I stick to. The first thing is that just be very direct and be very polite. Apologise for disturbing her. Just say, "Oh, hi, I'm really sorry to disturb you. I was wondering if I could get your number." It doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. And if she says no, don't think it's some kind of game where like she's trying to make you make her get no. Just if she says no, just say, "Oh, okay, thank you, sorry to disturb you," and just fuck off. Just don't be stupid about it. But there's nothing wrong with asking, I think. Just as long as you fuck off when you're told to, basically. So that's number one. Is just realise that it's as long as you're polite and you don't hassle people, going up and doing a cold approach, most of the time it's completely fine. A lot of stuff today in culture is about making women feel safe and stuff. I'm completely on board for that. That's really important. But the problem is that guys don't really know where to draw the line between being a creep and just being open, and willing to show their interest in a girl. And the result is that it's often the more aggressive guys who get all the girls, because they're the ones who don't give a shit about making girls feel uncomfortable. So just be polite, be chivalrous, be nice, and you'll get it'll be so much easier than you think. So that's the first thing to get right in your head. Second thing is something I mentioned before, which is about you have to approach girls that you're genuinely attracted to. It's very easy to hear this and think, okay, well, I'll just go up to a bunch of girls who I'm not really attracted to. But you won't really get much of the sort of fear factor inside of you that you need to get over. So you want to go for girls that you really would actually want to be in a relationship really with. And I think if you're starting out, it's going to be difficult because you even though I've talked about before, like cold approaching, provided you're nice, it's fine to do it in any circumstance, but you're still going to feel a bit uncomfortable maybe doing it in all circumstances. So I would say, just do it, to start off with, just do it in sort of bars and stuff where that kind of atmosphere is natural anyway. Now, okay, so another question with cold approaching is, should I rely on Dutch courage? A lot of guys find they only really have the courage to speak to girls when they're drunk. I would say, fine, but just realise that you're only getting it so far if you're cold approaching when you're drunk. I would say, if you're going out with some friends, like you go to a pub or something, you haven't really started drinking yet. Just don't be afraid to do it before you get drunk, basically. Or drinking's a bit of a bad idea anyway. Just realise that the real progress is made when you're not drinking. Okay. Trying to think what else to say. So just start with that. Start, talking to girls on nights out. As you get more basically, like the first few times you do it, if you're not used to doing it before, it'll be really scary, and you will honestly, I thought about this last night. When you're talking to a girl, going up to a girl, especially if she's really attractive and she says no, in your brain, you're going to think like you're going to die, basically, because it's not used to that kind of rejection, and it runs away from that rejection because it's associated with the fear of there's a kind of fear of, I know, some tribal fear there to do with like rejection means you're not going to pass over your kids or whatever. But in the modern world, it's not like that, and a lot of that's been programmed anyway by the kind of low-key, like the soft culture that we live in today. So it's just a case of getting over that, and as you realise, like it's actually quite you'll start to quite enjoy it, basically, and you'll do one, and even if you get rejected, you'll still feel good. You'll feel really good afterwards, and from there, it's just keep going. So I've been cold approaching in sort of bars and clubs, but I'm going to start widening that a bit. So, to places where I'm sober, I'm just doing my normal day. And this thing that More Plates, More Dates talks about is he just works into his day, you know, he'd be walking around camp at uni and he'd just see girls anyway that he was attracted to and go over and talk to them. That's kind of the state you want to be at. That's a state that I'm going to want to get to. It might take me a while, a few months maybe. I'll do another video about it in that time where I can sort of update you guys on my progress and my thoughts. Maybe make a slightly more coherent video as well. And yeah. So the final thing I want to add before I finish this is I've already talked about it a bit with the sort of attitude you're meant to have towards cold approaching. You're not doing it to necessarily get the girls. It's more about improving your ability to sort of getting rid of your fear of talking to women is what it's all about. But there's also another thing. I do want to say something, you know, if you do sleep with someone, you know, get someone's number, go on a date with someone from cold approaching, that's great as well. But it should be seen as a kind of, I don't want to say, sort of a welcome consequence, a welcome unintended consequence. Not unintended exactly, but you know what I mean. So, but the final thing, I do want to do something on like what's to do with, like, once you get the girl's number, you text her, because this is where I've gone wrong in the past with cold approaching, and where I think a lot of people do. So you get a girl's number after a successful cold approach, and you know, you text her and she doesn't text you back, or she's, you know, you don't get to meet her basically. And this is very disappointing because you're so gassed off the, you know, you're so happy about the how well the cold approach went. Excuse me. That you're disappointed things didn't work out. What you got to do is just refuse to get too emotionally attached to the girls whose numbers you get in a cold approach, because it's not about that. It's just about getting into the habit of expressing interest in girls that you see who you're attracted to. That's all that matters. Just go out and get, or trust me, like, just keep doing it. Keep going out and getting more girls' numbers, and you'll start giving less of a shit about it. Even though, you know, you're not really getting any, you might not be getting any dates out of the next bunch of girls' numbers you do. You just want to keep the process going as much as possible, because what that does in you is it creates an abundance mentality, and that is extremely attractive to girls. If you can create the atmosphere of if you can create the impression that you're just, you know, that the girl you're talking to is just one of many girls that you're interested in. Girls love that. They want to compete for a guy. So that's really what you want to manifest. And it takes a long time. I'm by no means there yet. I've got a long way to go. But it's worth just investing in that process. You know, you're going to get a bit maybe you'll get a bit heartbroken by it. If a girl you really like, you know, it went really well, the cold approach, but you didn't get the number. But you'll get a thick skin from it, basically. And the other thing that will happen if you keep committing to the process is, well, you just start seeing women in a very different way. Because I think if you haven't had a massive amount of experience with women, especially attractive women, with, you know, going on dates with them, or, you know, having hot girlfriends or whatever it is, you don't have a massive experience with girls, you tend to really put them on a pedestal. But once you start cold approaching, you just start seeing girls very differently. I don't know what I remember I had this girl who, it was at the end of the night, and I was waiting by a bus stop, and there was a group of girls, and one of the girls like caught my eye, and I thought, fuck it, let's just do one more cold approach for the evening. And I went over to her and I said, oh, is there any chance I could get your number? and she said she was a bit rude. She was like, no, like fuck off, kind of thing. And if I hadn't done so much cold approaching before that point, I would have been really upset by that. But the thing is, I just kind of thought, you know what, you're not even that great anyway, you know, and not like a misogynistic kind of way. It's just like fair, you know. I just thought like that's her loss, you know. Why would she be saying no to me? That's kind of weird. I've asked hundreds of girls to not hundreds, but I've asked loads of girls tonight for their numbers. A lot of them who are better looking than her have given me her number. So basically, that's what I'm really trying to get with this video. Is it's just about cold approach. Is all about just getting that abundance mentality. Because that's what's really going to that's going to be so important with making you attractive to girls. Now, obviously, there's the other things he talks about: going to the gym, having like an exciting life that girls want to be a part of, dressing well, spending well, all that shit. You know, making good money, all that shit goes on top of it. But I believe it's really nothing unless you have the abundance mentality and the sort of the lack of fear of women that cold approaching brings. So this is a bit of a long video. If you're watching this, like, I'm not sure if I'll release this. I might watch it through before I release it to check I'm really saying what I want to say, and I'm not misrepresenting myself. I'm actually really tired. Like last night, I was talking about the times I was talking about tonight where I was cold approaching. I ended up staying up to like 6 a.m. So yeah, really late one. But so I'm a bit sort of, I'm probably not articulating it as well as I'd like to. But I hope you got something from it. I really think this is really life-changing stuff. And, you know, I'm really excited for the future. I think cold approaching is back on the table as a big part of self-improvement for me, along with going to the gym and everything else. So I'll update you guys as to my experience. And let me know how it goes for you guys as well.